And this is another fantastic looking game, especially if you like treasure hunting in cursed Mayan temples. Because in this game, each player is going to be playing as a treasure hunter, trying to get into the temple and acquire as many relics as possible to score victory points, but try to get out as quickly as possible as well, because there's always a chance you could be locked in there forever. The way this game works is that all the players' adventures are going to be starting at the entrance of the board, and you might notice that some areas of this board have a bunch of different icons on them, while other areas are completely empty. This just means that any of the empty spaces allow players to just move freely through them, so if you are on that region of the board, it just means that on your next movement you can move into any of the spaces that are adjacent to that area. This is where the really interesting aspect of this game comes into play, because on a player's turn they're going to be drawing 3 tiles from a bag, with each of those tiles having a particular icon on them. Spending that tile is going to allow you to move through any amount of adjacent icons that match the icon on that tile. But you might be asking, how is that possible when almost none of these adjacent spaces have the same icon? Well, the answer to that is that each of these rows can actually be slid side to side, and on a player's turn they have up to 3 slides that they can make use of. You're going to be using that to try and match up adjacent icons so that you can spend that token matching that icon to move through as many spaces as possible. Of course, you're also trying to pick up those various tokens scattered on the board for victory points, so this is another layer on the puzzle that you're going to have to balance with the tokens that you're drawing from that bag. But of course, the most valuable treasure is going to be found on the top of this pyramid, and moving up that pyramid works exactly the same. You'll be able to rotate it by spending one of your slides, and then you'll be able to match the icons on the board with one of your tokens in order to move through those icons. Any player that does make it to the top of the pyramid at some point is going to be earning 15 victory points towards their final score. But of course, all of this is for naught if you're not able to escape. And like the title of the game says, this is a cursed temple. And the way that this curse comes into play is that some of these tokens that players are going to be collecting are actually going to be associated with certain boulders that are going to be rolling and blocking off areas of the board. There's 3 of these boulders, and they're represented by these blocks out on the board, with each side having a different icon, and when you take that token into your possession for its victory points, it's going to trigger one of these boulders to roll, and it's going to be rolling to the nearest location matching the icon that is currently at the top of that boulder. It's always going to be rolling towards the entrance of the temple, and it's just going to be moving to the closest space with that icon. But of course, as it's rolling to that location and when it comes to a stop, this could potentially mean a different icon is now shown at the top. This is going to determine where it moves for its next movement, and it's going to keep doing that until it reaches the locations at the entrance. There's 3 boulders and there's 3 spaces at the entrance, and once all the boulders have blocked off that entrance completely, any of the players still left behind have lost their opportunity to win the game, no matter how much relics and victory points they have collected. Luckily, there is one more trick that players have up their sleeve, because each player is going to be starting with a backpack card that has 4 different abilities on it. You can only use this once per game, and you can only choose one ability, and when you do that, you're going to be flipping it over to the other side, indicating that you have spent that action. Of course, if you play well enough, you might not have to dip into your backpack, and if you're able to avoid doing that, that's going to be scoring you 2 additional victory points at the end of the game. And once all the players have left the temple, or once all the rocks have blocked off the entrance, any of the players that were able to make their escape are going to be comparing their victory points, and the player with the most victory points wins the game. And if you are interested in this one, you can check it out in the description below, and of course, click to get notified.